Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report, the first show of 2023. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including information from city departments and news happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, January 10th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our city manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for being here today.
Great to be here, Andy.
Okay. Well, our first show of the year, we have some things that are appropriate for early January. Folks are probably wondering about how they can dispose of their Christmas trees and when they're collected. So we have a collection week coming up January 9th through the 13th.
Yeah, it's an annual ritual that will come around and collect your Christmas trees. We do ask you a few things. We don't want them in plastic bags.
Right.
We actually recycle them for and just grind them up and everything. So just place it on your terrace on your regularly scheduled garbage day. But please remove the decorations, lights, tree stands. Don't leave anything. Everything should be natural there. If it's covered in snow, that's going to make it difficult. So just make sure if it's snowed recently that you get that out of there. We do not collect artificial or flock trees. Like I said, we recycle them. So please don't do that. You can also, if you don't want to wait for us to do that, on one of the dates, either January 9th through 13th or January 23rd through 27th, you're always welcome to drop it off at the yard waste drop-off site over on West 3rd Avenue during our regular business hour during the week.
Mm-hmm. And also Christmas wreaths, garland, or swags that contain a metal frame, and artificial trees, as you mentioned, should be placed in the garbage cart.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that we want all natural materials for this purpose.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay. All right. Well, another winter item is we have winter skating coming to Menominee Park's zoo, the lagoon at the Menominee Park Zoo. And of course, this is weather permitting, so lately we've had some warmer weather. But we're looking at the open skating beginning January 14th.
Yeah, weather permitting, the goal is to have open skating hours begin on January 14th and run through February 19th. It'll be on Saturdays and Sundays from noon to 4 p.m. And it's great. Free skate rentals will be available from Dr. Eric's Skate Club, which is really kind of cool for them to be willing to do that. And because we're doing it in the Menominee Park Zoo Lagoon, we're going to use Lake Fly Cafe as a warming shelter for guests as well. So there'll be a place for you to, if you feel like you're falling down a few too many times, you can warm up over there. That would be definitely my thing. We also want to thank, because we've got the International Youth Sailing Club of Oshkosh. They're going to be providing free cross-country ski rentals on February 18th and 19th. That's another thing we want to be able to offer to folks. And if you've never been cross-country skiing before, sign up for the instruction at the Oshkosh Rec Department online, and their website is www.oshkoshrec.dept.com. So look for that, and hopefully it freezes up a little more. I know we enjoy the winter, but sometimes we don't like the cold weather, but cold weather brings that great ice that makes for great skating, but this will be a wonderful venue. Sure. We figured we'd try it out this year and see how it works. And it's because it's going to be all weather dependent. So cross your fingers for just the right balance of nice weather and cold enough weather to freeze things over.
I know the Parks Department is excited about this. They've had an ice rink the last number of years. As you mentioned, it's the first time over at Menominee Park, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, and a lot of great partners. The Discover Oshkosh, our Convention Visitors Bureau, the Rec Department, the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, as well as the Sailing Club. So, and of course, Dr. Eric offering the free ice skate. So a lot of great community partners. So hopefully we'll be able to make that available.
Okay, very good. Also, we wanted to make note for the traveling public that the Oregon-Jackson Street Bridge will be closed for maintenance coming up beginning January 9th. And this is actually to continue some maintenance work that had been done the other closure, related to the other closure as well.
It was. If many people will recall, for the bulk of the summer and into the fall, the Oregon-Jackson Street Bridge was closed. And there was a gearbox that was faulty. What they decided to do is, even though the other gearbox on the north side of the north leaf span of the bridge looked to be okay, because they don't exactly know how the other gearbox, the source of what breaking apart, they just decided they ordered another gearbox when they did the other one, and they're going to install it just to play it safe. And I think that's a very good idea. The bridge is due to be replaced in next 5 or 6 years, but because it's so important to the flow of traffic between the north and south side, it serves as an alternate to Interstate 41. I think the DOT wanted to make sure that they didn't leave any stone unturned. So getting that extra gearbox, so it'll be a couple, 3 days of inconvenience. And again, weather permitting, if the weather's really bad, it may have to get delayed or rescheduled. If the weather's good, it actually could get done earlier. So cross your fingers and maybe it won't be as long. But what we're saying is Monday, January 9th at 8 a.m. through Wednesday at 5 p.m.
And again, if the DOT decides to change that, we will pass the information along through the City of Oshkosh social media. But right now, that closure for Oregon-Jackson is Monday, January 9th, 8 a.m. through Wednesday, the 11th at 5 p.m. and to allow them to do that work. Okay. Then also we wanted to note that a lot of folks are getting into their exercise routines in the winter here, and the Oshkosh Senior Center is hosting an open house, easy for me to say, at the Fox Fitness Center.
Well, if you want to start your New Year's resolutions and actually do something about it, the Senior Center and Network Health are hosting this open house on Thursday, January 26th, from noon to 3 p.m. at the Senior Center North Building. I can tell you I attended last year, really liked a lot of the stuff that was there. They're going to do a lot of what they did last year, equipment demonstrations, door prizes, booths from a variety of wellness resources, and the staff from the Senior Center will be there to answer questions you might have about the facility, what you can do over there. There are some wonderful facilities that I think you would find very attractive to you if you were looking to quietly get into the exercise mode. And there's some great people who are experts in wellness and can help you with that. This display there is about fall prevention. We've got a little fall prevention device. Remember that? We had that earlier in the year. And you can tell this is so 2021 and 22 with the masks, but we'll be there to safely walk you through any of those machines that you may have a question about that maybe you didn't want to ask somebody. This is a great, safe place to be able to ask these types of questions and learn how to use some of this fitness equipment.
Right. And Alec Jensen is a staff person over there who assists folks with using the equipment. He'd be very happy to get you started. And again, this is coming up on Thursday, January 26th from noon to 3 at the Oshkosh Senior Center North Building. So feel free to join in.
Yeah, and the Fox Fitness Center is intended for adults age 50 and older. So if you think, oh, I'm too young, well, I thought I was too young at one time and I qualify now. It's really intended for that group of folks because it's a different setup than maybe a gym that maybe you're a little more embarrassed about going to. You don't have to feel that way. You can go there very confidently and participate. No judgment, no nothing like that. So I highly recommend it.
Okay, excellent. All right, then we also wanted to make mention that there's a free informational program that's planned about incentive programs for Oshkosh homeowners. And, there are a lot of different resources that the city can make available to folks for rehabbing their home or, even purchasing a home. And this is just a way to get that word out to folks.
One of the most important things I think we can do as a city is encourage people to have home ownership. and to stay in our neighborhood. So we have multiple programs. There are incentive programs for homeowners to learn about loans and incentives designed to encourage home improvements, home ownership, and investing in eligible housing stock in the city of Oshkosh. We have programs such as forgivable loans, 0% interest loans, and other programs. And so this program is designed to really teach you about those things and what eligibility requirements may be there. I wouldn't be too afraid about just checking it out. Even if you share it with a family member or a friend, you'll learn a lot about it, especially if you're interested. If you're planning to do something to your home in the upcoming year and you want to start planning ahead, you may want to attend this program to learn about how these programs can save you money when you're remodeling. That's what it's all about. So join us January 25th. We're doing an in-person presentation this year, 5:30 over at the Oshkosh Convention Center. We want to make sure that we manage our crowd, so registration is required. Just give Ann Schaefer a call at 232-5306. We ask that you register by January 11th, and we hope that we'll have a great number of people to come and learn about all these programs.
Sure. And I did read that real estate agents as well as loan officers are also invited to attend as well, so that they're aware of this. So definitely some wonderful programs that are available for residents. Okay, being winter, we also wanted to remind folks about some reminders for snow shoveling, and it's important to get those sidewalks cleared within 24 hours of the end of a precipitation event.
Yeah, whenever you have a snow or ice type of event, we want to make sure it gets cleared, because if we don't and we do get a call or a complaint, we will go out and inspect it. And I can tell you that the rates for this year went up 65%. So the rate's going from $99 last year to $164 minimum this year. So quite honestly, if we did no snow removal from sidewalks, I would be very happy. A lot of people don't like it when it happens. We cannot give advance notice because that just extends the amount of time, and our goal is to get the sidewalks cleared once we are aware of them. We want to get them cleared as soon as possible. So please, if you're going out of town, talk to your neighbor, a friend, relative to clear your sidewalk so that we don't have to come out and send it out. But if we get a call, we will go. And one of the other things we do is we look up and down the street out of fairness to everybody else. If we're at your house and your neighbor hasn't shoveled as well, we will also do that. So please be aware that we don't want to do this. We're doing it for public safety, and hopefully people can understand that.
Sure. And speaking of public safety, we also wanted to remind folks to please clear out the snow from around the fire hydrants to assist emergency responders if they need to access those fire hydrants as well.
And we also, if you're at a corner and there's the handicap ramps and things like that, we want to make sure people do that as well. So please do that. It's for you, it's for your friends, for your neighbors, for the whole community. So thank you in advance for doing all that.
Okay, all right. We wanted to pass some information along a little bit early, but we want people to get this, save the date on their calendars. State of the City 2023 is coming up Monday, March 13th at the Oshkosh Convention Center. So we're returning to in-person this year.
We are going to be live and in person. I'm so excited to be able to greet people and just talk about some of the great things we're doing, a little bit of forecast into 2023. So State of the City 2023, Monday, March 13th at the Convention Center. Doors open at 6 p.m. and we'll start the program around 6:30. And we always hang around a little bit afterwards for people to, if they get inspired with a question through the presentation and want to talk to any of the departments, we do the City Exhibit Expo. It's a great way to talk to different departments and city staff about programs that we offer. So certainly recommend coming, and we always get a decent turnout, so hoping we bring everybody back because we're doing it live.
Absolutely, and watch for more information about State of the City 2023, Monday, March 13th. Okay, and also we wanted to make mention that in case you missed it, the City Manager's Report Top 10 show of 2022 is airing on GovTV. It's been actually airing on GovTV, but now it is available full-time to be watched on the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel on demand. So the Top 10 program is a look back at the most important events, activities of 2022 in the city of Oshkosh, and encourage people to watch.
Yeah, well, a lot happened last year, and we want to talk about that. And it's very easy from your phone or tablet or home computer to look up our YouTube channel, and you can look at any past City Manager's Report. But the Top 10 of 2022 really concentrates it, and you get to see a lot of different things that went on. A lot to be proud of, but also very informative. So we hope that you'll look it up and learn a little bit about what happened in 2022.
Sure, and especially if you're new to the community, it kind of gives you a good inside look at what's been going on as well. So, okay, Mark, I believe it's time for us to take a short break, and if you stay with us, we'll have some highlights from the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. We'll be right back.
It enables all terrestrial life on the planet. This ecosystem below ground is home to a universe of life that goes largely unseen. Just a handful of healthy soil is home to billions of hard-working microbes. By using regenerative farming techniques that increase biodiversity, South Dakota's soil health farmers are growing more than just our food. They're growing life.
Welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Tuesday, January 10th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting. So, Mark, at the very beginning of the meeting, there are some presentations, one of which includes some information from our transportation department regarding light poles. And I understand that there are several that need to be replaced in the city, and this is some discussion about what type of pole to replace these with.
Yeah, well, most of the light poles in the city are actually owned by Wisconsin Public Service. And so they're on a replacement schedule, and there are a generation of light poles that are concrete that they want to get rid of in the next few years. And the short-term issue is we have 10 immediately that need to get replaced, but it's really more, it's not just about those 10. There's actually 70 concrete poles remaining in the city, and then we also have hundreds of other poles out there. So these are two of the types of poles that they want to replace the concrete poles with. One is the standard wooden street light pole that we're all used to, we've seen for years, and then Wisconsin Public Service, WPS, has standardized on a fiberglass street light pole that you see there as well. But here's the major difference. They charge us a monthly fee for electricity and ongoing maintenance of these poles. But with the fiberglass poles, they will also charge us an extra $2,000 plus, and the rate's going up for each fiberglass pole. So when you start doing the math, it really adds up. It's only 10 poles this year, which is only about $20,000, but there's 70 of these concrete poles, and then as fiberglass poles elsewhere in the city need to get replaced, or wooden poles. Again, wooden poles don't have an upfront cost. There's an ongoing cost, but not nearly as much as what the the fiberglass is. And the fiberglass with a price tag right now of $2,000, we're looking at $140,000 to $175,000 to replace those 70 light poles over the next few years. But when you think about all the fiberglass poles we have throughout the city, it could really add up. We need a policy on this because we can't just willy-nilly say, well, this one's going to be fiberglass, this one's going to be wood. We really need some consistency, and I can tell you, I've been doing this a long time, Andy, and it's amazing. We have 66,000 people in the community. We have 66,000 different opinions on what the light pole should be. Everybody has a different opinion, and so we have to make sure that we whatever we do, we have some consistency, because having a hodgepodge of light poles up and down the street, if you and I have different opinions, we can't have, our street have different light poles all over the place. And before we get to that point, we need to get some direction from council, and they're going to need to hear from the public, because the public's going to have a great deal of opinion on this type of issue.
I'm sure. So we'll be watching for that one as well. Okay, and then when we get into the consent agenda, we have a collaborative type of item on the agenda regarding hazardous material response services.
I'm very proud of our fire department and our hazardous materials, or hazmat team. They're well regarded throughout the state, and what the state of Wisconsin does to be more efficient in this manner is they identify different fire departments that take on the responsibility for hazmat in the area, and the state in return gives special training, equipment, and things like that, so that they can respond to these hazardous material spills and do everything they can to contain it. So what you're seeing here on the video is an exercise that's done for our training folks to learn how to do these things, because they don't do them very often, thank goodness, but when they do, you've got to be ready, and our folks are definitely trained very well in that. We collaborate with Winnebago County so that we take care of most of the communities in Winnebago County, and actually beyond our county borders. So this is just our agreement with Winnebago County, and we're real excited that we can do this collaboration.
Okay, excellent, very good. Then we also have an item, we are looking to purchase some water meters and transmitters, and I believe that this is one of those things that we just need to continue to replace as time goes along.
We try to stretch out our replacement schedule to be more efficient, but we have a lot of water meters between commercial and residential and industrial. We're purchasing about $800,000 worth of meters this year alone, and that's just for what we have to replace this year. So it's very important that we get good, reliable readings on our water meters, and updating our meters about every 10 years is a way to do it. Okay.
And then we also are looking at the consent agenda. There are several special events that are listed, and like one of those in particular just happens to be Otter Street Fishing Club, and they're looking to have their winter fishery and pond hockey event.
But the Convention and Visitors Bureau tells me we have about 72 different fishing tournaments in Oshkosh annually. Something we're real proud of. But one of the first ones out of the gate is the Otter Street winter fishery and the pond hockey tournament that they've added in recent years. So this is on Saturday, February 4th. So we issue a special event permit, because they get started long before that. They get started on like February 1st, but a lot of different activities out there, a lot of winter fun, and hopefully the weather will cooperate, so we do have some good ice out there. Right now we don't, so we're crossing our fingers, but Otter Street and the different groups that run the different tournaments do a lot to give back to the community, so that's one of the reasons we like promoting it, because they do a lot to help different groups in the community, and it's a lot of winter fun, and want everybody to be aware of it and maybe take it in.
Sure. And just a side note, we will be taping a new Let's Talk Events program, and we'll get into some of these things a little bit deeper, talking about some of the events coming up in Oshkosh. Look for that on GovTV. Okay, then also under new ordinances, we have we're looking to end the declaration of emergency, and I believe that this relates to the day-by-day warming shelter.
Yeah, the day-by-day warming shelter, for a variety of reasons, had to temporarily close just at a terrible time, just before Christmas, just when we had a winter storm that was bearing down on us. And Winnebago County and the city of Oshkosh got together and said, what can we do to make sure that this facility remains open through the snow emergency? And I think we were very successful in getting that done. And I want to thank our friends at Winnebago County for all the work they've done to get this going. And we assisted in providing police. So we wanted to make sure it was good and secure, because we had a lot of new people, with little to no experience in operating a warming shelter, but they did it. And I'm so proud of the work everybody did. our contribution was we provided police officers for security. If we had to get moved off site, we were prepared to use our transportation department, and we had other folks stand by at the city to assist the county in operating this. This is definitely a county-wide issue. On Christmas Eve alone, we got calls that there were some people stranded in Neenah that needed a place to stay, and the county got them down here to Oshkosh and got them warm and a place to shelter from the cold on a really rough Christmas weekend. So we certainly want to thank Winnebago County for working through this. The Winnebago County Board has extended the emergency for the county to make sure that if another bad weather thing comes up, that they're going to be ready to do it. I want to thank them for that. Our share of the emergency for now has subsided, so as quickly as I bring it to council to ratify, it's going to be closing about the same time. But that doesn't mean that the Winnebago County is not continuing to do that, and we're going to stand by. I think it's important that we're there. We have a role in this, but it's a county-wide issue. We want to make sure that it's a humanitarian issue, and I think we have a moral responsibility as well. So we're going to keep working with the county on this issue and appreciate their help.
Okay, excellent. Glad that everything could come together for that. All right, under pending resolutions, we have an item, institutional residential use and a group development. And if you can shed some more light on what this is about.
This is a facility that the state is mandating Winnebago County to provide a facility for what are called Chapter 980 offenders. Those are violent sexual offenders who have been released from prison, but they need a place to live, and the county has identified a fairly isolated area on the north side of town adjacent to the landfill, far away, more than 1,500 feet away from the nearest residence. It's right around the corner from the county sheriff's department. But the council had some legitimate concerns because this has grown twice in recent years, and the county is now asking for capacity of 11. The council's concerned about that. So they asked for some additional information, and they're going to be reviewing that information this Tuesday and decide if there's going to be any growth permitted out there, and if so, how much. Okay, very good. Then we also have another pending resolution, and this is to set a stormwater utility rate for 2023. And just wondering, I know that there's a good fund balance that is currently in place. What's the plan for the use of that current fund balance? The idea is to draw down that fund balance and actually use it to apply to some of our projects and borrow less. But we've got a little window that we've got to get ourselves through that over the next couple of years that we need to raise the rates about 6.5% per year. And then for we've got a 10-year capital improvement plan. The remaining 8 years, it'll average about 1.25%. But we got to get through this little narrow window to fund it. We're providing some options to council that they asked about at the last meeting, but it's projects like these that you're seeing here that we have to make sure that we're taking care of, and not only maintaining but actually building more. We have we're about 15 years into a 35-year program to do stormwater ponds. These are just a few examples, but we have so many more to do. Just northeast of here at South Park, we've got some areas around 9th and Ohio that still need work to get done. We don't want to delay those projects, and so we feel that in order to meet all of our bond covenants, we have bond covenants when we do borrow. We want to borrow less, but we want to make sure that we have sufficient funds to pay off those bonds. And there's a mixture that we have to do, and I think we're going to show council that a 6.5% increase for the next 2 years is something that we're going to need to do.
And those projects do make a great difference in the community.
They do, and I think the projects that you've seen on the screen kind of speak for themselves. We've had success, and we want to continue that success. Okay, very good. Well, I think that's about all the time that we have today, Mark. Thank you very much for your insights today. Always a pleasure, Andy.
And thank you for joining us today. Again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting is at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, January 10th at City Hall, 215 Church Avenue. And you can watch that meeting live on GovTV, Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen to it on the radio, that's Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online and on the TuneIn radio app for phones and tablets. You can also stream on your television using a streaming device like a Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. Just search for the Oshkosh Media app. And you can always visit the YouTube channel for government meeting archives. So join us again in 2 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thanks for watching.